Down in the valley where the girls get naked. If you throwing bands, then you know she gon' shake it. 1, 2, break 'em. 3, 4, break 'em. These niggas grind hard, but these bitches grind harder. Coming out. Y'all, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have the whole song down by the finale. I'm gonna give it to y'all all the way on the finale. In the meantime, you guys, what's up, everybody? It's Rox coming to you today with the review for P-Valley Season 1, Episode 7. So you guys, we only got 3 episodes left after this one. Get my mouth together. We only got 3 episodes left. It's only going to be 10 episodes, which actually is fine with me, you know. Let's just, while the getting is good, let's just, leave everybody excited to see the next season and all. Let's have a chat about the show so far. Now, let me just first say how much I love this show. I think that the fact that I am willing to get out of my order. You guys know I'm a Capricorn. I do things decent and in order, right? I always have a schedule. I stick to it. I think P-Valley is one of the first. I don't think any other time have I had a show where I've wanted to disrupt the way the schedule of my videos go, because technically P-Valley comes on after Love and Marriage, but P-Valley is a show that makes me want to put that review up first, which may not be a big deal to you guys, but to me that is a big deal. That is definitely a sign that I love the show. It makes me disrupt my schedule and put this show out of order just to hurry up and get it up to you guys, okay? Because it's just that good, you guys. I enjoy it. And that's why we got to make sure we get this to a season 3. I was talking about on Twitter how, when I look at the views, they aren't high. Now, of course, that you guys pointed out to me that's probably just true live views of when the show actually comes on. It's not taking into consideration streams, apps that show the show as well, people who watch it on demand or anything like that. It's probably just the true views. But it's still enough to make me nervous, because why haven't they gotten their season 3 yet? The thing that bothers me about Starz, and I think we thought that 50 Cent was doing too much, but now I think we understand what he's saying, is that you have a surefire hit show. The show does so well for your network. What the fuck are you waiting on giving them a season 3? I don't want to pull a race card, but you have other shows that aren't predominantly or considered a black show that get renewed before the season even starts, or after the first episode, starts. But then they have these type of shows that we've gone a whole fucking season and they still haven't gotten a season 3. That to me is a problem that Starz has. Like, it's just like, what else do you want people to do to prove? I mean, this show has such a following. It has think groups. It has people who talk about it all the time, and we all review the show. Everybody is watching the show. I mean, Mr. loves the show. Everybody watches this show. Yes, it has its controversial moments and everything, but why is it that Starz hasn't renewed the show? I don't know what you need us to do. I know that I have like a production assistant that once has commented on my video, like, tell us what it is that you guys would like for us to do that will help get this show pushed over the hump. Now, I do believe that they would be a fool not to renew this show, but we have seen networks do it on surefire hit shows that have been doing so well and still will cancel a show, okay, and leave everybody dumbfounded like, what? Now, they would be a fool, I think, to do that for P-Valley. However, they haven't done it yet. And so the fact that they've gone to 7 episodes now and we still don't have a renewal, it makes me kind of worry, And everybody in my Twitter was just like, oh, Roxanne, that can't be true. That's not it. But see, that's the whole thing, is we can't allow ourselves to just think that, well, everybody I know say they watching it. It's just like, what we need to do, we need to share some video. We need to do, I'm trying to repost shit on my Instagram and, like things and follow the characters and everybody. I just, what we need to do, Katori, because we can't fuck this up, or Starz can't fuck this up, I should say. They better fucking renew this show. That's all the hell I know. Got me cussing on a Sunday. Lord, forgive me. The Lord knows my heart. Anyway, you guys, I just wanted to make sure I got all that out because it's been bothering me all week. That every day I'm waiting to hear that it's been renewed, and yet still there's nothing. And even after this episode, which was also very well done, like they deserve it, so stars quit fucking around. Anyway, you guys, the review. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, so the show opens with Granny singing. Okay, I'm not sure if this is a flashback, if this is a dream, if this is just, them showing us what Granny used to do, maybe a little bit of all of it. Okay, she's in there singing, well, you don't call anymore, my very way in vain. I guess I'll rap on your door, tap on your window pane, tap on your window pane. I want to tell you, baby, the changes I've been going through. Missing you, still you come back to me. That's what I'm gonna do. Y'all, I know I'm singing too much, but this song just be living without you might be like living away to constant tears. Hear my plea, I got to make you see that our love is dying. Y'all, that is one of my favorite songs to sing. Like, that's one of my karaoke songs because I feel like I know how it all goes. I mean, I ain't no singer or nothing. But anyway, she's singing that, and we see little Clifford as he's running around, as a kid, and with his mom. And, she was just like, look at Granny up there. She calls him Uncle Clifford even back then. He's always been Uncle Clifford. And then we see that it is somewhat of a dream, maybe like a vision / Granny has COVID, so she's feverish. It kind of makes you have hallucinations and things like that. And then we see her, she's in the middle of in the pink, and her daughter is like, come on, mama, come on, have a drink, sit down and rest yourself. But Granny Ernestine says it's not time yet. Okay. And I was just like, they preparing us for the death, y'all. It's coming. I'm telling you right now, we just need to go on and prepare ourselves. Oh, it's gonna be so heartbreaking, you guys, but I feel like we need to get ready. Present day, Autumn and Uncle Clifford are meeting at the pink. All right. Uncle Clifford is actually inside. Autumn comes in and was just like, oh, I thought you ghosted me. All right. And Uncle Clifford was like, listen, girl, you didn't just buy a damn club. You bought it to some history. Okay. My granny sang up on that stage. Okay. My grandfather got shot playing cards here. Okay. This person did this. This person did that. All right. It's a whole lot of history here, and it's just so easy for you to get rid of, but it's not easy for Uncle Clifford. And Autumn with that damn voice. I know that it's important. History is important, but so is the future. Uncle Clifford, even though they have been going back and forth and been at each other's neck, Uncle Clifford was like, listen, we need to sit down. Okay, let's have a discussion. Let's talk about this. Boss bitch to boss bitch. She was just like, I'm not being talked out of this, Uncle Clifford. I am going to sell the pink. And Uncle Clifford was just like, we already got the place up to code. Like, everything is ready to go now. What is the damn problem? And she was like, listen, you got everything up to code and everything, but they gonna shut this place down. The referendum is gonna pass. The casino is coming. Okay, the best thing that we can do out of this is get the amount of money that this place deserves. Promised Land offered them $5 million. Well, that is quite a jump from 40K, right? I was just like, okay, Miss Lady from Promised Land. She said she was gonna give her a much better offer. Well, that was much better, but I'm not gonna take it though. And Uncle Clifford was just like, bitch, what? I mean, good, but bitch, what? Like, what? You crazy? And she was like, yeah, I'm not taking it because this place is worth $10 million. I'm going to get what you deserve, Uncle Clifford. And Uncle Clifford was like, don't try to make that shit about me because this is all about you. You're not fixing to piss in my mouth and call it Kool-Aid. I know what it is. And we finally get a moment where I think we were able to see Autumn's side a little bit clearer. All right. She said, no, it's about the money that I used to save this club. That money was supposed to be for me and my baby to get out and survive. Okay. You don't know what the shit she had to go through to get that money saved up. All right. So that's what this is all about. And damn it, she's still gonna honor the deal to give him, I guess, his 33 1/3%. So it's just sort of like, you gonna come out on top because them people was trying to give you $40,000 damn dollars. So this was her money to get her and her daughter a new life. And Uncle Clifford was like, but the whole thing is the baby is gone. All right. And so Uncle Clifford leaves that for Autumn to think about. And I'm sure she realizes that, but still. So, I think that did give us a little bit more of the reason why, Autumn didn't have to do what she did. They could have let that place go at the auction, but she knew that this land was worth more. She knew that Uncle Clifford there couldn't do it. She knew that the casino was coming, and she knew she can get more money out of it. It's a win-win for everybody. But when you are an emotional connection to something, it's hard for you to see the forest because of the trees, right? But Autumn may have helped Uncle Clifford, but Uncle Clifford is not ready to see that. Okay, and I guess maybe us as viewers, we wasn't really trying to see that either, right? Now, back at Uncle Clifford's house, remember Little Murder's there. Little Murder's in a bad way, okay? Thinking about the shit that happened with Big Teak, their last moments together, when he shot himself, all of that, and he's just really having a hard time. But you know what? He can't even really concentrate on that right now, because right now grandmother Ernestine is even in a worse way. She's sick with COVID. She's in there coughing. And he goes in there with his mask. And she was like, is that you, Isaac Hayes? And he was like, no, this is LaMarcus. She was like, who? And he said, Little Murder. She's like, oh, okay, I like that better. How when she be talking, I like that better. Anyway, he done fixed her up a plate. She was just like, not that food that Uncle Clifford made. That's gonna kill me before anything the Rona can. And he was like, oh no, Miss Ernestine, only the best for you. Okay, he done whipped up some, soul food. Okay, she looking like, oh shit. Okay, is that greens? Is that candy yams? Is that, he done whipped all of that up. He was like, boy, it look like you still got your sense of taste. She was like, that's about all I got. Okay. But anyway, he feeds it to her. And it was just such a touching scene, you guys. Great actors. I'm so bummed. Also, side note, I'm so bummed that I think that they missed the cutoff for the Emmy nominations, because there were so many people in this show who should have had Emmy nominations. And I'm just hoping that they get recognized in the future, because they deserve it. But anyway, back to the show. So, she was just like, oh, you better not keep doing this, because a bitch gonna get used to you. And he was like, oh, come on now, Miss Ernestine. Okay, and she was just like, I'm not talking about this bitch. Okay. And then that's when Little Murder was just like, maybe you can put in a good word for me, with Uncle Clifford. And she was just like, you keep on cooking like this and I will. Okay. But then she has a moment of lucidity. She's like, when you came in the other day, I've been smelling death. Like, I smelled death all over you. I can smell the blood. And, he's reminded, like, the reason why he is actually there to begin with. Okay, now later on, Uncle Clifford, I guess she make it back home from talking with Autumn or whatever. And she's like, oh, shit. Where's little homicide? Okay, where's my granny? Like, she calling out, nobody answering. The house look open. She don't know what's going on. Like, Mama, where are you? Grandmother, where are you? She go in there, and Little Murder was like, well, you calm down. Her sugar good. Her fever is not any worse. It's 101. Like, she good. I've been taking care of her. Uncle Clifford still feels bad that she's sick. She was just like, I don't really know where she got it from. And Little Murder was like, you can't even put yourself through that, because ain't no rhyme or reason to the Rona. Y'all remember when Rona was at its worst? Shit, it was jumping over people, getting to that person, the other person didn't have it. So it was, it's really no way for you to tell. Don't beat yourself up about it. Little Murder takes her out of there, let Granny rest, and is gonna fix her a plate. Okay. And, Murder asks Clifford, like, what's up with the paint? What's going on there? And she tells him that, Autumn was offered $5 million. And Lil Murder quickly did the math in his head and was just like, shit, that's 1.65 million for you. Like, that ain't nothing to sneeze at. And she was like, well, look at you, little calculator. Well, Uncle Clifford ain't big on taking this 1.65. Oh, come at him with what's 33 and a third of 3.3 million, and then we can talk, right? But Uncle Clifford was just like, do you think I'm crazy? And Lil Murder was like, I mean, I used to really think that money was everything, but I done learn better now. It's way more important things in life than that. So Uncle Clifford was like, enough about me and what we got going on here. Like, how are you doing? All right, I heard you crying in your sleep last night. And, Lil Murder couldn't really say nothing about it. I was just like, oh, I love this love story, you guys. I love it so much. But yeah, Lil Murder don't want to talk about it. You know who else he ain't been talking to? He ain't been talking to Wody, who's been trying and texting and calling, trying to reach him. Because damn it, we got to strike while the iron is hot. Now, Uncle Clifford mentioned that Lil Murder has a song with Tina Snow. Okay, we know that's Meg Thee Stallion, right? And that shit is blowing up on the radio and everything. And here Lil Murder is hiding out over at Uncle Clifford's house. And Wody been trying to reach him. So finally he calls Wody, or Wody calls him, he answers or whatever. And, Wody's like, where you been? Like, the Tina Snow shit is popping. Like, everybody's been reaching out to me. Like, I really gotta get you back on track. We got to get back on this tour and everything. And Lil Murder was like, the tour? Like, who gonna be the security? Wody was just like, yeah, that's fucked up what happened with Big Teak. Okay. But you guys remember, Wody didn't want Big Teak to come anyway. I mean, I guess he didn't really want him to get killed. I mean, for him to kill himself. But that's one less thing for Wody to worry about at this time. But of course, Lil Murder has a different relationship with Big Teak, right? So, he was like, yeah, that's fucked up what happened, but, we still gotta get back to this. And I think that Big Teak would want you to keep going too, which I 100% believe that as well. Okay, Big Teak knew that Lil Murder was in his height. I mean, not in his height, but he's climbing that ladder. He's getting up there. So it's just like, keep on going. I don't even need to be here for it, right? So anyway, Lil Murder can't talk about that right now because he hear all this calamity and shit. He needs to go check and see what's going on. He rushes up there to Uncle Clifford's room, and Uncle Clifford was just like, I'm trying to find something for your skinny, swole ass. I was like, I'm about 100% sure that Uncle Clifford ain't got shit up in there that Lil Murder wants to wear or probably can wear, because Uncle Clifford is a big bitch, first of all. And secondly, we saw what Uncle Clifford be wearing. I don't know if that's Murder's thing. Anyway, Lil Murder was just like, oh, so this is the secret lair. Only the important have been worthy enough to see this. And, Lil Murder was just like, I hope I'm worthy one day. And he was like, nigga, you here now? Like, I mean, what? So Lil Murder is looking at some of the stuff that Uncle Clifford has been shuffling through or whatever. And he sees a little Gucci purse and was just like, oh, look at this. Okay, this yours? And Uncle Clifford was like, this is mine. I had this when I was 3 years old. Okay, I used to carry this around and my mama would beat everybody's ass if they had anything to say about it. And Lil Murder was just like saying, damn, 3 years old. So you always been like this? And Lil Clifford was just like, yeah, I mean, this is me. Okay. And Lil Murder was just like, well, who are you? All right. Just perplexed by how complicated that Uncle Clifford seems to him. And Uncle Clifford was like, I'm me. Like, who are you? And Lil Murder was just like somebody that can't be the person that they really want to be. All right, so anyway, he's walking around the room. He notices that Uncle Clifford kept the all the cards that he sent, and he was like, which one was most special to you? And Uncle Clifford says the one that says you look good in red. Finally we get to the talk that these two have been needing to have, and Uncle Clifford has been avoiding or not wanting to deal with Lil Murder. But Lil Murder does apologize for doing what he did the night of murder night, and Uncle Clifford basically lets him off the hook. Like, I mean, I understand why you did what you did. If people don't understand what it's like to be Uncle Clifford, and Uncle Clifford realizes that. So, the fact that Lil Murder has to live his life in the closet and, like, he gets it. But the whole thing is, Uncle Clifford lives her life out loud, okay? Ain't no hiding who Uncle Clifford is. Lil Murder still does that. So that's the reason why they're at this point in the road. So while they're having this conversation, they hear some more noises. It sounds like doors opening and closing and everything. So they rush out, grandmother, where are you? Granny done left. Okay, Lil Murder's like, she not upstairs, and the front door is wide open. So they rush out, and looks like they're looking through the woods. That's like the easiest place to look, I guess. And they're on the right path because we see her robe on the ground. A few feet more, they see one of her house shoes. A few feet more, they see see her bonnet. So they're getting increasingly worried, like, oh my gosh, she's going to the water. Okay. So they rush to the water, and they actually see Ernestine, I gotta get to the water. I gotta get to the water. And, they like, grandmother, no, you can't go to the water. Can't go to the water, And she says that she has to see, what was her name? Was it Beulah? Yes, Beulah. And Lil Murder was like, who is Beulah? And of course, Uncle Clifford is looking worried because she's like, that's my mother. Okay, and she was just like, I need to get to the water. I need to get to the water. Well, if I can't go to the water, then you bring the water to me. Okay, so she's on the ground. And first of all, ain't nobody got on masks. Okay, now I know this is a highly emotional moment and everything. And of course, nobody is going to remember masks when you thinking that your grandmother didn't ran out somewhere, So I was just like, Lord, everybody going to have COVID because the grandmother, everything is like this. First of all, she can't breathe because of COVID, but she's always been a breathy woman anyway. And it's just like they all hugged up. Lil Murder goes and takes her bonnet and soaks it in the water, and then comes and brings it and drops it all over her, and gives her the water and everything. And she's coughing, and Uncle Clifford is trying to console her and tell her, come on, mama, it's gonna be okay. Like, grandmother, it's gonna be okay. And then she just passes out. I was like, oh, Lord, the lady ain't dead right there, is she? Child, I was like, now, Katori, we can't take too many of these shocking moments like this. Again, just like how Teak was, not as dramatic, but I did also yell out, okay? Like, oh, shit. And, but she's not. She's just she's in and out. She's loopy, she's high fever, like all of this is getting bad. So Uncle Clifford's like, we need to hurry up and get her back to the crib. And so they take her back, they call the paramedics come and get her. And of course, she doesn't want to go with the paramedics, because we know, like back then when people was going to the hospital, a lot of times we didn't never see them again, And so she doesn't want to go. Uncle Clifford is feeling so guilty and so sad and not knowing what to do. And of course, I'm sure Uncle Clifford doesn't want, her grandmother to be going to the hospital either. But it's like, what else can we do here? Her oxygen is low. It's just sad situation, right? So she has to go. She's gone in the ambulance to the hospital. So back in the house, Uncle Clifford is in the shower crying, upset. I was like, thank God that Lil Murder is there, because what was Uncle Clifford? This was going to be too hard for her to go through by herself. So, when she gets out the shower, we hear a thong song playing in the background. Okay, and when she goes in her room, Lil Murder has her bow around his neck, and he's dancing to a thong song. She's laughing, and he's like, you thought a nigga didn't know who Cisco is, So they dancing the thong song. A moment of, lightheartedness in this very heavy day. Okay, so they laugh, probably what Clifford needed for the moment, but when they collapse in the bed, Clifford is, again, like overcome with fear and worry and upset and, and of course, Lil Murder's there, and we in the bed, and everybody is very vulnerable right now, and you know what we about to get. Okay, a very, very passionate love scene. That, okay, if I was gonna be 100 with you guys, I have got to get used to this in the show. Now, I don't have any problems with gay lovemaking. I realize that gay folks have sex just like straight folks have sex. So, but I think that we haven't seen this, so this is really something that I've got to be all right. What I will say is that it was a very at first, when it first started, I was just sort of like, oh. But then as time went on, it just felt like love making. Okay. I was able to not think about the fact that they were gay and there were two men there, because at the end of the day, when people make love, is about the connection, right? When they love each other and something like that. So I was able to get past it. But you guys, I think also what Katori does a good job of doing is letting there be the passion about gay lovemaking, because thus far, we haven't done it. Now, I'm not going to shoot down Shonda Rhimes because Shonda did her thing back when she was on, having her shows on ABC. But the difference with Shonda Rhimes and Katori's gay lovemaking scenes is that Shonda made them very aggressive. And I think that maybe she thought that that was a way for us to be able to accept it a little bit more, because Shonda didn't get all the grief that Katori gets about the lovemaking scenes. The gay lovemaking scenes, mostly the men on man gay lovemaking scenes, because nobody had a problem with Mercedes and the wife. But Shonda made it very aggressive. So we saw men getting thrown up against the wall, and it almost looked like a fucking fight. Okay. And remember, I used to always say, like, damn, why y'all got to be so rough? And why we got to see, but I still think that it was a little bit more palatable for the regular average viewer who wasn't used to seeing this kind of thing. So the difference with her, Shonda, and Katori is that Katori actually gives us more of a humanized way. She humanizes her character. And so that you don't just look at this as a gay lovemaking scene. You look at it between two people that's having sex, that love each other, that need each other right now, and this is what it is. Okay? Now, so I was watching and I was just like, oh, like I said, I love these two together. I was a little worried when LaMurda said he didn't want Uncle Clifford to wear a condom, okay? That he wanted to feel Uncle Clifford all inside of him. And I was just like, oh, I mean, we not really exclusive. Okay, now I'm not gonna doubt that they love each other and everything, but Lil Murder was just with Big Teak, who was just in jail. Okay, we don't know for a fact what Big Teak was doing in jail. Lil Murder, even though they did wear condom, it's just like best to just be safe. So I was worried about that, and they made enough of it. I wasn't sure if they was bringing that up to us to see the fact that they really do love each other, and they wanted to have like this super intimate, close session with each other, or was it something that we needed to remember? Because the reality is that there's two gay guys that are having sex, and at least one of them has had a little bit of a checkered sex life, recent, right? So Uncle Clifford did ask, like, you okay, you straight? And Lil Murder was like, yes, I am. But I was just like, I mean, you should be, because you had y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm telling you what my mind was going through when all that, I mean, honey, they took us through a lot in that scene, okay? But I think it was beautifully done. I think that, like I said, it wasn't all that ramming and shit that you see when people try to make, I guess, a gay lovemaking scene more easy for us to digest. So I appreciated it, okay? Afterwards, they're in the bed and, post-coital, and we're talking, and Lil Murder was just like, why did you let me back in? And Uncle Clifford was like, well, it was clear that you needed me, okay? And I needed you. Like, we needed each other, and that's all that matters right now. Lil Murder was like, yesterday, about to start talking to Uncle Clifford about it, and Uncle Clifford was like, no, you don't need to talk about it right now. I didn't sell you that for you to be telling me your business. Just when you ready, I'm gonna be here to listen. Let's just enjoy this moment that we have together, because the reality is still the reality when it comes to Lil Murder and Uncle Clifford. If they're gonna try to pursue this relationship, it is 100% not going to be easy. But Uncle Clifford tells Lil Murder, I got you. I was just like, oh, my heart, it does my heart well. Now let's jump over to Mercedes. She calls Shell and tells her that Tarika's gonna be there a few more days, and that damn Shell got the nerve to be trying to regulate from over there. Girl, your drunk ass over there. I said, Mercedes, girl, I don't even know why you calling Shell, because she don't even know what damn day it is. But she's still trying to tell Mercedes. And Mercedes was like, girl, you just make sure you don't pass out after you have a case of Moscato, okay? She don't want to hear that. She hang up. Anyway, the situation with Tarika. She already got a little belly, okay? This is for real happening. And Mercedes want to know what she gonna do. Tarika, can we just paint the room? Like, she's like, girl, I ain't talking about no HGTV projects around here. I'm talking about this baby that's growing inside of you. Like, what is going to be your choice? heavy for a 14-year-old, right? But that's what it is today. Tarika says she got cravings, all right? Some ice cream, put some hot sauce on the top. And Mercedes is like, Lord, you really are pregnant. Okay, let's go to TCBY. They get in the car, and child, Tarika know all the words to wet ass pussy. She's singing all the words, and Mercedes is appalled, okay? It's funny how we don't see our kids like they really out there in this world, and we just don't be realizing. We still think they are little baby, and then they come shocking us talking about, you know, some damn wet ass pussy. Anyway, Mercedes was just like, that shit is not cute. You need to be quiet. You know, this whole thing is real, what you got going on. And Tarika was like, oh, you want to have the sex talk now? And Mercedes was like, we already did have the sex talk. I talked to you about it. And she was like, no, you said to leave these nappy-headed niggas alone. I was like, damn same thing, I guess. Tarika, I don't know how far along she is yet, but she got a little pouch. So again, the reality is there. They driving in the car, and they drive past TCBY, you know, and Tarika looks at Mercedes and was just like, TCBY, you just passed it. Like, where are we going? And Mercedes was like, we going to Jackson. She said, we going to Jackson all the way to Jackson for TCBY. And she was just like, we need to talk about what you gonna do with this baby. We just gonna go and just have a consultation. You know, Tarika's just like, oh my God, pull over. Okay, she gonna throw up. So Mercedes hurries up, hooks a right, pulls over so Tarika can jump out the car and throw up. And then she was like, you ambushed me. And Mercedes was like, girl, this ain't an ambush, but you been hiding out in my house for 3 fucking days. You ain't saying what you gonna do. Okay, your mama over there, she don't even know what's going on. Your other mama. Okay, and no, it's time to really face this. It's not gonna go away. Tarika is like many kids, think they have so much time on their hands. Okay, but she was just like, I was gonna do it. She's like, when? Okay, when the baby born? When you know, when the child go to preschool, when she goes to high school, prom, like when you planning on doing this? No, we gonna have consultation with the people. We gonna see what they say. This shit is serious. Tarika's just like, my friend told me, you know, it's always your friend telling you. My friend told me that you can get cancer from an abortion. Mercedes is like, you can't get no fucking cancer from this. No abortion. Okay, that child and her bald head mama don't know what they talking about. Okay, get your ass in the car. We going. It was just like, oh my God, these kids, child, they will worry you to death, won't they? So we back in the car. We on our way to Jackson for this consultation. Tarika gotta pee. So Mercedes pulls over at the diner. I said, is this the diner that Keesha and Derek, you know, their love once blossomed? Is this the diner that Sister Patrice Woodbine once worked at? I think it is. All right. And while Tarika runs in there to use the bathroom, Mercedes is having a flashback of a conversation she had with her mom, who was full of shit even back then. Okay. They ain't got nowhere to live. You know, Mercedes is like, where we gonna stay? And she was just like, oh, I got this man. He gonna let us sleep on their couch. It's just like, you got a teenage daughter who looks like Mercedes does, and you are just dragging her around from man to man's house, sleeping on their couch and shit. Like, you asking for this girl to get in a situation where some man tries to take advantage of her. And I don't even think Patrice cares, because Patrice was just like, you know, sees a man over at the diner bar, and he's kind of looking over at Mercedes and everything. And, you know, Patrice was like, maybe you can do, you know, what you do. And she was just like, girl, ain't nobody. I was just like, oh, Patrice. Now, you upset that your daughter got pregnant, but then you sitting up here trying to hoe her off to this man that's sitting. Come on now. All right. Anyway, when Mercedes goes in her wallet and Patrice sees that she not only has money, but she got a condom. What is this? You have a condom? And, you know, where'd you get this money from? And Mercedes is like, she got it from her Cortez, and he takes care of her and all of that. And you know what, Patrice, who was just, mind you, trying to hoe her out to the man, now all of a sudden she mad at Mercedes and beats her ass right there in the diner. You not fixing to be doing this, and you not doing that, and beats her ass and in the middle of the diner and all this. Okay? So yes, Mercedes has had some trauma in her life. All right? When Tarika gets back in the car, it snaps her out of it. And I think that that's why Mercedes is trying to have much different approach than with how she was treated when she was in this same situation. And hats off to Mercedes, because it is difficult. I don't know how you would just not, I don't know how it is that you just don't immediately be like, you're not keeping this baby, okay? And I guess it was right on the tip of Mercedes' tongue, but she made it a point not to go there, okay? Was trying to make sure that Tarika realizes what her options are. Some is way worse than others, but she didn't tell her that that's what she had to do. She was letting Tarika make the decision for herself, even though if Tarika did decide to keep the baby, then it's 100% gonna fall on Mercedes and Shell too, probably. So anyway, they get in the car, and you know, Tarika's kind of in this whole like, my situation is gonna be different than your situation. You know, her boyfriend, whatever his name is, he's 14 like her, so at least he ain't no grown ass man. But she said that he's an artist and he gonna take care of her and the baby. He gonna get a job. And Mercedes was like, who 14 fucking years old is gonna get a job and take care of you? Like, they can't even take care of themselves, okay? And Tarika tries to pull the, you just jealous that, you know, you had a nigga that didn't care about you, but I got one. And what? I was like, and Mercedes reached over there and slapped the fire out of her mouth. Okay, we shut that up real quick. And again, kids will definitely take you there. You know, a lot of times these kids, like, they just don't even realize that you have once had a life too. And I think Mercedes' life parallels much of Tarika's. Well, not in certain ways, but then in other ways. So sometimes you just can't sit there and listen to somebody when you know what you've been through, and then here they come trying to, you know, squirt some lemon juice in your eye. Absolutely not. You know, Tarika was like, when I have my baby, when I grow up and have my baby, I'm not gonna never slap my child. And Mercedes was just like, keep on living. I mean, I said that too. Okay, I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but I think all the parents out there can understand how shit like this happens sometimes, right? And I'm sure Mercedes felt bad for doing that, because that's exactly what her mom used to do to her, and I'm sure she doesn't want to be like Patrice Woodbine. So you guys, they get to the clinic, and it's stressful at the clinic because there's picketers out there, and they, you know, got to walk through the picketers to enable to get into the clinic. Security has to help them through and all of that, and they're all, you're a murderer and this baby is a baby, you know. Mercedes tried to tell her, like, girl, don't worry about it. The pro-lifers only care about the baby till it's born, and you ain't gonna find nobody out there trying to help you, so don't even worry yourself about what these people are doing. But again, that's still very traumatizing to go through that, especially when you're a young child and you don't really know all of the ins and outs of this to begin with. So, and Mercedes is having her own hard time because she looks out there and sees Patrice Woodbine looking at her as if she's judging her. Patrice, go somewhere. Go some damn where, even if it's in Mercedes' mind. So they go in there, they have the ultrasound, they see the baby. You know, Tarika says, is that my baby? Yes, you know. And she's going to have to make a decision. Are you going to keep this baby or not? You know, she says, you know, my friend said that I can have, you know, I get cancer from abortion. And the lady tells her, no, you're not going to get an abortion. I mean, there are some risks with having an abortion, but it's the same risk that you would have as having a baby. So it's like, you know, whatever decision you make is just going to be the decision, and the outcomes could still be very similar. Now, do we need to make this decision today? No. Well, yeah, you do, kind of. 24 hours, and we need to know what it's going to be. Okay. So Mercedes and Tarika, they end up staying in Jackson, get a hotel room. You know, they're sitting out at the pool, and we get a little moment of lightheartedness again because, you know, the kids are playing and splashing the water around, and Mercedes was like, oh, all these kids out here splashing, and, you know, Tarika was just like, that's what kids do, you know, so they do have a little laugh moment, but Mercedes was like, look at old girl over there with all them kids, and that could be you. It was just like, oh, I'll just drop them off at their granny's house. And she was like, don't you ever talk about no Patrice Woodbine when you with me. And she was just like, no, I'm talking about you. You gonna be the granny. And Mercedes was like, oh my God, granny at 30. Okay, like who would have ever thought it? Tarika's like, you don't want me to have the baby? And she was just like, well, I'm just saying, like, don't you want to have different things for your life? Like, don't you want to see the world? Like, don't you want to travel? Don't you want to live? Like, you don't need a child that's carrying, you know, weighing you down like that. Tarika was like, did you get offered them things? She said, I did, but I never wanted to leave. I didn't want to be too far away from you. But this is not about Mercedes. What does Tarika want for Tarika? Okay, so when they get back into the hotel room, and Mercedes can't take it no more. Like, girl, what are you doing? What are you going to do about this? Okay, you too young to have a baby. And Tarika is still upset and you have to look at this from a child's point of view, because we all can see that Tarika's being irrational and she's like upset that Mercedes didn't raise her when she fully knows what the situation was. Okay, but again, this is a child's mind who just really wanted the love of their mother, their real mother, So she puts Mercedes through it still, goes, storms off to the bathroom, locks the door and all of that. Mercedes again looks in the mirror, sees Patrice Woodbine looking at her, and I'm like, Mercedes, you are not your mama. But she still feels guilty. She tells her, like, Tarika, I'm trying my hardest. Like, I'm trying my best. I'm trying to help you. I know I fucked up. All right. I didn't do things perfectly. And the girl said, did you want an abortion? And she said, I didn't even have the choice, because her mother had already told her she wasn't having an abortion. So she was made to have her, but she's thankful every day for that. Okay. Which is worse, because you're forced to have this baby. Then when you have this connection and you really want your baby, then nobody lets you keep it. So that's torture in a whole nother way. So she tells her that she's thankful every day that she did have Tarika, and that seems to break through some of the ice. Tarika opens the door. I was just like, well, I guess that means we having a baby child, Mercedes is like, well, when we get back, what do you want to do? Okay, we can fix up your room, paint the room green if you want to. And she was like, oh, for the baby? And Mercedes was like, no, for you. And I was just like, Lord, we about to have a baby. So the next morning, they're leaving the hotel, and Tarika was like, well, what should I do? And Mercedes was like, girl, it's up to you. Throws her the keys. All right. Either Jackson or Chuckalisa. Okay, you let me know where we going. So they jump on in the car and they driving on the highway, and we see a sign that says Jackson, and it has an arrow going this way. And Tarika puts on the blinker and she makes a right turn to go towards Jackson, and that Mercedes, child, I was like, Mercedes, I know how you feel, girl. I haven't been in this situation, let me make that clear, but I have definitely had some moments with my kids where I was just like, please make the right decision. I am going to try to not tell you what to do. And when they do make that right decision, child, the relief that comes over you, especially when it's something as heavy as this. And we haven't had nothing as heavy as this, but we've had some moments, of course. And that Mercedes was about to jump out that window. She was smiling. She was like, I can't let her see the smile. She was like, Lord, I ain't gonna be no granny at 30. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. I felt happy for Mercedes. And then later on, we see them, they back in Chuckalisa. She's clearly had the abortion. She's resting at the house. They're watching TV together. It seems like Mercedes and Tarika is finally about to have this relationship, however hard fought for it is. But they are going to have a relationship, and Mercedes is definitely going to be there for Tarika. She's like, do you think I'm going to go to hell for this? And Mercedes is like, well, if you go to hell, I'm going to be in hell right with you. I was like, wrong answer. Child, I'm just relieved that we ain't having no baby. Then lastly, you guys, let's jump over to Keesha. So Keesha and Derek are at the grocery store, the Piggly Wiggly, I guess, and they shopping. Derek is all trying to be nice and everything. And, Mrs. Keesha is just like, I'm not feeling it. Okay, and Derek was like, come on, Keesha, I'm really trying here. Nigga, how about you try not to beat my ass or my kid's ass? How about that? How about you not keep me locked up in the house and I can't go no damn where? How about you just leave me the fuck alone? I know that's what Mississippi was like. Anyway, she was like, I gotta go get some makeup. Okay, so Derek was like, okay, I'll go to the checkout. So she goes over to the makeup, and Autumn was over there. I thought I'd find you here. Why did you think that? That she would just randomly be at the Piggly Wiggly? The Autumn got 6 cents now, child. So anyway, Autumn pulls down Keesha's mask and sees her face is all bruised up. And she's like, well, I guess you ain't used that gun I gave you, huh? And Keesha was like, yeah, it's just not that easy. She cannot get out. And Autumn was just like, there's more than one way to get out. But of course, Keesha is nervous. And Derek was like, Keesha? I was like, nigga, she in the grocery store. What you think is happening? See, that's the problem right there, right? She was like, I gotta go. So later on, we see her back at home. And it's that evening, or it's the next evening, I'm supposing, if we were going by the times or everything else on the show. And she rings the door, and Derek answers, and she was just like, I'm here to see Keesha. And Derek was like, who are you? And Keesha was like, oh, that's Autumn. We used to work at the club together. Derek is just sort of looking at her like, okay, well, I guess. And Autumn was like, I was at the outlets and I had a gift that I saw I had to get for the baby. All right. And so Derek was like, okay, I mean, I guess that's good. So Derek actually leaves Keeshawn and Autumn alone. I was just like, well, look at here. Okay. So they go into the other room and the baby is Fussy that Keeshawn is holding. And Autumn was like, can I hold the baby? And Keeshawn lets her hold him. And so then Autumn gives us this real dramatic story about her life. There was once a girl named Haley, and Haley didn't have nothing. Okay. And then she had her baby, and the world was wonderful and opened up to her. And then she had this man, and he bought her a McMansion and gave her marble countertops and did all of these things for her, but he was still horrible, and he was beating her ass and all of this. And so she gives us a story of Haley, basically. I was sitting there thinking, like, where's Derek? First question, because it don't take a damn genius to know where you're going with this story. Secondly, Autumn, we don't feel like hearing your story. Okay, I did feel a little bit more for you this episode, but I still was just like, girl, you was talking real long, and this baby don't care. And Keeshawn don't even really understand what she's saying. Okay, but Autumn is trying to tell her it's more ways to skin a fucking cat. There's more ways to get out, and apparently Autumn is there to give her that way. So she hands her the bag, because Keeshawn is just like, what are you doing? She hands her the bag. Keeshawn opens it, and I couldn't see what it was exactly. You guys may have known what it was, and if you know what it is, leave it in the comments, because I was watching on my phone. All right, so she gives her something. And, Autumn was kind of looking at her like, girl, hold on to that. And if you need more information on how to get out, you know what? Go on and look up Haley Colton. Google the name, Google me. And then when you find out what Haley Colton was all about, and if you still trying to get out of here, then call me and Haley Colton help you. When you ready to swim, and all these tears that Derek has given you, then let me know. And I was just like, okay. So I guess Autumn is still Keeshawn's guardian angel. And Keeshawn's going to get out of there. It's going to be tough. But I have a feeling that we got another man that's going to be dead soon. All right, you guys, that's it. Not a long review, and I know I kind of pontificated, but there's certain things that I just wanted to make sure that I talked about. So anyway, y'all, I still got to do DC, Love and Marriage. So make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.